Scheherazade Stories. Tonight's story is about watching and being watched. The phone started ringing at 3:33 a.m. That alone should have been enough to ignore it. I never get calls at that hour. No friends who stay up that late, no family emergencies waiting to happen in the middle of the night. And yet, the sound cut through my sleep with a sharp urgency, like it had been ringing for much longer than I'd realized. I reached for the phone half asleep, squinting at the screen. Unknown caller. No number, no country code, just those two words. I hesitated. Something in my chest tightened, a quiet instinct telling me not to answer. The ringing stopped. I exhaled, relieved. Then the phone rang again. This time, the screen changed. Incoming call. Name. Daniel. My name. My heart snapped, fully awake. "That's not possible," I whispered. I stared at the screen, waiting for it to correct itself. A glitch, a prank, anything that made sense. It didn't. The phone kept ringing. Against every reasonable thought, I answered. "Hello?" For a moment, there was only silence. Not static, not breathing, just space. Then a voice spoke. Calm, familiar. My voice. "You weren't supposed to pick up yet," it said. My pulse thundered in my ears. "Who is this?" I asked, sitting up in bed. A quiet sigh came through the line. "Listen carefully," the voice said. "This call isn't for you. It's for the version of you who answers it tomorrow." My mouth went dry. That doesn't make sense. I know. That's why it works. I swung my legs out of bed, heart racing. "Is this some kind of joke?" I snapped. "No," the voice said softly. "If it were, you'd already be laughing it off." I clenched the phone tighter. "What do you want?" I asked. Another pause. Then, "I want you to remember this moment, exactly how it feels." "Why?" I demanded. "Because tomorrow, at 11:47 p.m., the voice said, you're going to get a call you won't answer." My stomach twisted. "And that call," it continued, "will change everything." A chill ran through me. "What happens if I do answer it?" I asked. The voice hesitated. "That depends on whether you still believe you're the only one living your life." My heart hammered. "You said this call wasn't meant for me, so why am I hearing it?" A quiet, almost sad laugh came through the phone. "Because you're already closer than you think," the voice replied. "You just haven't noticed when you started drifting." The word stuck with me. Drifting. "What happens if I hang up?" I asked. "You'll forget this conversation by morning. Not completely, just enough to doubt yourself." "And if I stay on the line?" I asked. Another pause. Longer this time. "Then tomorrow won't be the first time you hear from me." My phone buzzed suddenly. A notification slid across the screen. Missed call, 11:47 p.m. Date, tomorrow. My breath caught. "That's impossible," I whispered. "You see," the voice said gently, "the call already exists." The line crackled softly. "I can't keep you on the phone much longer. This call is bleeding through earlier than it should." "Bleeding through from where?" I asked. There was a faint distortion now, like the signal was stretching too thin. "From the place where you stopped making decisions," the voice said. from the version of you that learned how to live without being fully present. My chest felt tight. "Who are you?" I asked again. This time, the answer came immediately. "I'm the one who answered." The call ended. The screen went dark. I sat there, staring at my phone, breath shallow, waiting for it to ring again. It didn't. When morning came, I told myself it had been a dream, until I checked my call history. There it was. Incoming call, 3:33 a.m. Caller, Daniel. And underneath it, faint and grayed out, like it hadn't fully arrived yet, incoming call, 11:47 p.m., scheduled. My hands began to shake, because suddenly I understood something terrifying. The call wasn't warning me about the future. It was inviting me into it. I didn't sleep after that. Not really. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, phone resting on my chest like it might ring again if I let my guard down. Every small sound in the apartment felt amplified. The hum of the fridge, a car passing outside, my own breathing. By morning, I had almost convinced myself it was stress. Almost. Then I checked my phone. The call history was still there. Incoming call, 3:33 a.m. Caller, Daniel. And beneath it, incoming call, 11:47 p.m. Scheduled. My stomach dropped. I tried to delete it. The screen froze for a second, then refreshed. The call remained. I went through the day on autopilot. Work emails, small talk, coffee that tasted like nothing. Every now and then, I caught myself glancing at the time, doing the math without meaning to. 11:47 p.m. was coming. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. "You're already changing things. That's dangerous." My chest tightened. "Who is this?" I typed back. The reply came almost instantly. "Someone who didn't want you to pick up last night." I swallowed. "You're not the one who called me." "No, I'm the reason those calls exist." A cold weight settled in my stomach. "What do you want?" There was a pause, longer than before. Then, "I want you to do what you always do. Ignore it." I laughed under my breath, a sharp, nervous sound. "Why?" "Because answering splits you. And the more times you answer, the harder it is to put you back together." I stared at the words. "How many times has this happened?" I asked. The typing dots blinked, stopped, started again. "More than you remember." My phone buzzed again, but this time it wasn't a message, a notification. Missed call, 11:47 p.m. Date, yesterday. My heart skipped. That didn't make sense. Yesterday's 11:47 hadn't happened yet. "That's not possible," I typed. "It is, where I'm standing," the reply came back. Time doesn't line up the same when you stop answering. I leaned back in my chair, head spinning. "You said answering splits me. What does that mean?" I wrote. Another pause. Then, "Every choice creates a version of you that lives with it. Most of them fade quietly. Some don't." My throat went dry. And the calls? They're how the versions talk, usually only one direction. I felt a chill run through me. So who am I talking to? The response came slower, like it had been carefully chosen. "The one who answered when you didn't." The words echoed in my head. I remembered the voice from the call, calm, certain, mine. "Why warn me?" I asked. "Because you're close to a decision that doesn't fade." My phone vibrated again. Another scheduled call appeared in my log. Incoming call, 11:47 p.m. Status, confirmed. My pulse raced. What happens if I answer tonight? The reply came immediately. You won't be able to pretend it was a mistake anymore. And if I don't? There was a long pause, long enough that I thought the conversation was over. Then one final message appeared. Then someone else answers for you. My mouth felt dry. Someone else? Who? The answer was short. The version of you that's tired of waiting. The screen went dark. No typing dots, no vibration, just silence. I sat there, staring at my phone, understanding dawning slowly and horribly. This wasn't about a single call. It was about a pattern. Every time I hesitated, every time I let a moment pass, every time I told myself I'll decide later, those versions didn't disappear. They accumulated. And tonight at 11:47 p.m., one of them was going to stop waiting, whether I answered or not. I spent the rest of the day trying not to think about the time. That was impossible. Every clock felt louder than usual. Every notification made my chest jump. Even the microwave timer sounded like a countdown I hadn't agreed to. By evening, I gave up pretending. I went home early, shut the door, and sat on the edge of my bed with my phone in my hands. I didn't scroll. I didn't text anyone. I just waited. 11:23 p.m. 11:31. 11:39. The air in the room felt thick, like a storm building without thunder. I kept replaying the words from the messages. Every choice creates a version of you. Some don't fade. How many of you are there? I whispered to the empty room. My phone vibrated once. Not a call. A message. More than you think. My stomach tightened. Are you the one who will answer tonight? I typed. The reply came after a pause. No, I already did. I frowned. Then who was left? The typing dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. The one who never hesitates. My heart began to race. That doesn't sound like me. The response was immediate. It is after you're tired of being afraid. 11:44 p.m. I stood up and paced the room, running a hand through my hair. So what's the plan? I said out loud. I answer and what? You all merge? I disappear? The phone buzzed again. If you answer, you meet him. If you don't, he replaces you. I stopped pacing. Meet him where? I typed. The response was short. On the line. 11:46 p.m. My pulse thundered in my ears. The phone screen dimmed, then lit up again on its own. Incoming call. 11:47 p.m. Caller. Daniel. My name stared back at me. This was the call I'd already seen in my history, the one that wasn't supposed to exist yet. I didn't move. The phone rang. Once. Twice. Every instinct screamed at me to wait, to think, to let it pass like I always did. 7 seconds, I thought suddenly, remembering another warning from another future that hadn't happened. I picked up the phone. Hello? I said. The silence on the other end felt deeper this time, wider, like a space opening. Then a voice spoke. Not calm, not gentle, confident. This time you answered, it said. My voice stripped of doubt. Who are you? I asked, though I already knew. I'm you, the version that stopped asking that question. My throat went dry. What do you want? I asked. To take over, he said simply, or to step aside. I don't care which you choose. I just need you to decide. You said answering splits me, so why does this feel like a merger? A quiet laugh came through the line. Because you've run out of room, he said. Too many unfinished versions, too much waiting. Something has to consolidate. My hands were shaking. "What happens if I hang up?" I asked. "You'll wake up tomorrow feeling lighter, more decisive, more present." "That sounds good," I said bitterly. "Yes," he agreed. "That's why most of you let me do it." The words hit hard. "How many times?" I whispered. "Enough that I stopped counting," he replied. I swallowed. "And you?" I said. "What do you lose?" There was a pause. "For a moment," he said quietly, "I lose the part of us that still cares about the cost." The air suddenly felt colder. "And if I don't let you?" I asked. Another pause. Longer. Then I stay on the line, and you learn how to answer without me." My heart skipped. "That's an option?" I asked. "It's the hardest one," he replied. "That's why it almost never happens." I closed my eyes. For once, I didn't overthink. I didn't rehearse. I didn't wait for certainty. "I won't hang up," I said, "but you don't get to replace me either." The silence stretched. "You're choosing the gap," he said finally. "Yes," I replied. "I'm choosing to stay in it." The line crackled. The confident edge in his voice softened. "Then this is where I stop, and where you start answering on your own." The call ended. The screen went dark. No missed call, no scheduled call, no messages, just my reflection staring back at me. I sat there for a long time, heart still racing, waiting for something to happen. Nothing did. The next morning, my phone alarm went off at the usual time. No strange notifications, no unknown senders, no future timestamps. Life felt the same, except it wasn't. When a decision came up, I felt the hesitation and moved anyway. When silence tempted me, I noticed it and spoke. Not perfectly, but deliberately. Sometimes I still wonder how many versions of me are out there, quietly fading because they waited too long. But I don't hear them anymore. Because now, when the phone rings, in my life, in my head, in my chest, I answer. The first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, the absence kind. For weeks after the call, my phone stayed normal. No strange timestamps, no calls from my own name, no messages that felt like they'd slipped through time. I told myself it was over, that I'd chosen correctly, that staying in the gap meant I'd finally broken the pattern. And maybe that was true, at least mostly. It started with other people. A coworker paused mid-sentence one afternoon, staring at me like she'd lost her train of thought. "Sorry," she said, shaking her head. "I could have sworn I was about to say something important." "It happens," I replied. But it kept happening. Friends hesitated more around me. Conversations slowed, snagged on invisible threads. People would reach for their phones, frown, then put them away again like they'd just missed a call they couldn't hear. One night, my sister asked me something strange. "Do you ever feel like you answered something no one else heard?" she said. I laughed it off, but my stomach tightened. The dreams started soon after. Not nightmares. Worse. In the dreams, I was sitting in a room full of phones, hundreds of them, all identical, all silent. Each one had my name on the screen. None of them rang. I'd walk between them, feeling pressure build in my chest, knowing I was supposed to do something. Answer what? I'd wake up before I figured it out, always at 3:33 a.m. The first real sign came on a Tuesday. I was waiting for the subway when I felt it, that familiar tightening in my chest, the sense of a moment approaching. Someone nearby rubbed their temples, another person checked their phone, confused. I looked down the platform, and there he was. Not a reflection, not a voice. A man leaning against the wall, with a phone in hand. My face, but different, calmer, sharper, like he'd already decided something I hadn't yet. He looked up and met my eyes. Didn't smile, didn't look surprised, just nodded. I froze. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. I understood immediately. This wasn't a version that replaced me. This was one that never needed to, one that lived entirely on the other side of the hesitation. My heart pounded. I took a step toward him. The subway roared into the station, wind rushing between us. People moved, doors opened. When the air settled, he was gone. But my phone buzzed in my pocket. No notification, no alert, just the vibration. I pulled it out. The screen was dark, and yet, for a split second, I saw it. Not a call, not a message, a single line of text fading as quickly as it appeared. You chose the gap. Now you hear what others don't. The screen went black again. That's when I realized the truth. Choosing not to be replaced didn't end the system. It changed my role in it. The calls don't always ring. Sometimes they pause inside people, inside moments, inside decisions no one notices until it's too late. And now, I hear them. I don't answer for others. I can't. But sometimes, when someone hesitates too long, when a moment starts to fracture, I speak. Just enough. A word, a nudge, a question asked at the wrong time for the right reason. And the pressure eases. The call dissolves. I don't know how many versions of us are out there. I don't know who started this. I only know this. The future doesn't belong to the ones who never hesitate. It belongs to the ones who hear the call and choose how to answer it, even when the phone never rings.